Hey everybody, it's Carlos with the Nerd Today podcast. Hope you're well. Another episode. Little, you know, I don't know how to approach this one. I do want to speak about it, but just you know, as a as a warning, there's a content warning that I will be discussing suicide, harassment, and rape. Um, and I mean, just get to the nitty gritty of it. We're going to talk about Activision and Blizzard. Um, this story broke by Bloomberg and Jason Schreier. Um, this was the 21st of July. I guess it doesn't matter to the story why. I guess just to say why I'm covering it now. Um, I'm speaking about it now just due to I was on vacation, um, bad cell service, uh, and then I looked. I think I happened to be outside, where grilling with the kids and just hanging out with my dog, and my phone picked up a signal being outside, and I saw this broke on Twitter, and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy, and all my you know on my way home and subsequently I started doing more research, and as I did more research, more stuff started coming out, and so I have a few things here just want to go over. um, this is just like it's very frustrating. I'm trying to keep my composure, um, and language to like at least PG-13. um, But I'm gonna read a lot from Kotaku. They had a lot of good breakdowns in as well. I mean, I don't know how to link TikToks, but fellow kind of funny best friend Mick Abramson, you might know him as the nanobiologist. Very nice man. Um, he has a lot of short form like TikToks that just kind of break down a lot of stuff. I'll link his stuff below. Um, So yeah, let's get into it. I'm reading from this is Luke Plunkett over at Kotaku. The headline reads: Activision Blizzard sued by California over widespread harassment of women. The lawsuit highlights multiple instances of harassment, discrimination that are a violation of state civil rights. Um, yeah. Um, so the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing over frat boy. They Their alleged frat boy workplace culture alleges that it led to years of harassment, abuse, and targeting women in its workforce. Bloomberg reports that the suit filed on July 20th is a culmination of a 2-year investigation into the publisher by the Department of Fair Employment and Housing, which says that Activision Blizzard's compliance with California's Board of Workplace Protections is long overdue. Um, Yeah, so to enforce such compliance, the case says the department brings the government enforcement action seeking to remedy, prevent, and deter Activision Blizzard's violations of state civil rights and equal pay laws. Um, so yeah, there's while pointing out lack of women in leadership positions at the company and the difficulties they have faced in gaining promotions, the suit also highlights enormous pay discrepancies at the executive level between women and men. It says women are not only promoted more slowly, they're also terminated more quickly than their male counterparts. The company's frat boy workplace culture is also mentioned as a breeding ground for harassment and discrimination against women. Some examples provided include: in the office, women are subjugated to cube crawls, in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office and often engage in inappropriate behavior toward female employees. Male employees proudly come into the work hungover, play video games for long periods of time during work while delegating their responsibility to female employees, engaging in banter about their sexual encounters, talk openly about the female bodies, and joke about rape. Female employees are subjugated to constant sexual harassment, including having to continually fend off unwanted sexual comments and advances by their male coworkers and supervisors, and being groped at the cube crawls and other companies' events. High-ranking executives and creators engaged in blatant sexual harassment without repercussions. In particular, tragic example, a female employee committed suicide during a business trip with a male supervisor who had brought sexual toys and lubricant with him on that trip. Also, there were situations where female employees were treated negatively due to pregnancies. Supervisors ignored medical restrictions given to female employees and gave them negative evaluations while they were out on maternity leave. Other female employees reported that they were criticized for leaving to pick up their children from daycare, while their male counterparts were playing video games. The female employees were kicked out of lactation rooms so employees could use the room for meetings. I'm not sure what article also brings this up, but I found subsequently, after reading this article and breakdown of stuff, they also would, it's not even just kick them out, like they would go and oogle and like kind of make comments about their breasts while pumping in the lactation room just to get them out of it, and just being gross and horrible pieces of shit. Honestly, there's no other way to say it. Just terrible people. And this is where women of color were particularly vulnerable to targets of discriminatory practices. African American employee noted that it took her 2 years to be made into a permanent employee, while men hired after her were made permanent employees. She was also micromanaged as such that her male co-workers were known to be playing video games without any intervention by the supervisor. But her supervisor would call and check on her as she took a break, go on a walk. Another African American employee who worked in information technologies was similarly micromanaged, by her manager, unlike the men on her team. When she requested time off for work, her manager made her write one-page summary of how she would spend the time off when no one else had to do a write-up. Updated to that, so I guess, pardon me as I adjust myself for video watchers. I guess let's talk about that in general, right? A woman killed herself because she was harassed so terribly. Not to mean anything else that's happened, but a woman killed herself. People were like horribly mistreated because of their pregnancies. Let go. I've had very close family members that happened to, and in today's society too, as well, in a medical field. Being on maternity leave and just just mere days coming back to work, just being safe. We don't need you anymore. You're good. Have fun in your future endeavors. I thought Vince McMahon was rough. Apparently, there's other people who want to be like Vince McMahon. I think that might be my only joke, because this is a very serious subject, and I don't want to demean or take away from what's going on in the world, especially in video games, and an industry that I love so much. Activision did respond to the suit. I won't read their whole statement, but they did call it irresponsible behavior from unaccountable state bureaucrats, and just kind of bemoan the lawsuit in general. It's a shitty response. It's a really shitty response from a really shitty company. So yeah, the fact that it's 2021 about to be 2022 and just a few months, and so we're talking 2019 was 2 years ago when the investigation started, and this is still happening. It's still happening in different workplaces, and women are still being not treated equally. They're still not being paid correctly. They're still being questioned when their male counterparts aren't. Yeah, I'm a father, and I mean, I see, I love my kids, but so many women get treated so. I, Luckily, not where I work, my day job. I haven't seen that particularly. I can't speak to every department where I work, but yeah, I just, I haven't seen that, and I mean, there's so many women who just like, oh, you're pregnant, you're a liability, or you're pregnant, oh, you're a problem, you need to get out of here. Like, if you just sit, or hey, you have childcare needs, we're not gonna help you. That's not the most important thing in the world, and it's just utter bullshit that women have to deal with. It's freaking ridiculous, and they still keeps happening. They still get harassed. They still all this stuff. Like, why is like, I almost want to scream. Like, why is the universe like this, right? And it needs to get better. In the days since that report and their shitty response, reading from another report here from Mike Fahey at Kotaku, Activision Blizzard employees plan walkout Wednesday to protest working conditions. There's be updates as well. At this point, I was home, and yeah. So they, there's an informal protest, denouncements from their company's response as well. There's like a written, I think it was signed by over 2,000 former and current Activision Blizzard employees, just denouncing the company's response to the lawsuit. They were calling on leadership to improve conditions for women, particularly women of color, transgender women, non-binary people, and other marginalized groups. Just speaking, the walkout as a gained support that day from people around the gaming world. Activision Blizzard offered employees paid time off to participate. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Protest event formerly known as Activision Blizzard Walkout for Equality. This is like a event stage at the campus. There was a few things that were done. The statement of intent here, which I'll read here. This is from the 2,000 people who signed. This is from them, and giving last week's statements from Activision Blizzard Incorporated and their legal counsel regarding the Department of Fair and Ethical Work, I believe. I'm sorry, I butchered that lawsuit, as well as the subsequent internal statement from Francis Townsend. We'll get to you soon. And the many stories shared by current and former employees of Activision Blizzard says, we believe that our values and employees are not being accurately reflected in the words and actions of our leadership. As current Activision Blizzard employees, we are holding a walkout to call on the executive leadership team to work with us on the following demands. In order to improve conditions for employees at the company, especially women, in particular women of color, transgender women, non-binary people, and other marginalized groups. 1. An end to mandatory arbitration clauses in all employee contracts, current and future. Arbitration clauses protect abusers and limit the ability of victims to seek restitution. 2. The adoption of recruiting, interviewing, hiring, promotion policies designed to improve representation among employees at all levels, agreed upon by employees in a company-wide diversity, equality, and inclusion organization. Current practices have led to women, in particular women of color, transgender women, non-binary people, and other marginalized groups that are vulnerable to gender discrimination not being hired fairly for their new roles when compared to men. 3. Publication of data relative to compensation, including equity gain grants and profit sharing, promotion rates, salary ranges for employees of all genders, ethnicities at the company. Current practices have led to aforementioned groups not being paid or promoted fairly. And finally, 4. Empower company-wide diversity, equality, I'm sorry, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force. Sorry, I had some dry throat. To hire a third party to audit Activision Blizzard's reporting structure, HR department, and executive staff. It's imperative to identify how current systems have failed and prevent employee harassment, and to propose new solutions to address these issues. The article goes on to say this is not the first time there was a walkout. Riot had one in 2019 where 150 employees walked out. Yeah, there was a couple people just kind of backpedaling, what they said and stuff. And as an update to that article specifically, Blizzard managers informed their teams yesterday employees participating in the walkout will get paid time off for, according to two sources of the knowledge of the announcement. Meanwhile, the hashtag ActBlizz walkout hashtag striking on gaming Twitter as support for gamers, developers around the world pours in. Gamers in particular are calling for boycott playing Activision games, which many did at the time. Now, still back, as this is going on, Ethan Gotch reports on Kotaku, are very Kotaku heavy today, and thank you for that. I mean, their reporting is amazing as well, just kind of recapping a lot of the things. Inside Blizzard developers, infamous Bill Cosby suite. Booze, sexual remarks, and giant portrait of Cosby are all at the center of Activision lawsuit. This is by Ethan Gotch, and this is kind of breaking as the walkout was happening. Since news broke last week of widespread allegations of sexual harassment and discrimination at Activision Blizzard via a legal complaint by the state of California, many top male developers there, both current and former, have responded with shock and dismay. But while many claim they weren't aware of problematic frat boy culture leading to accusations of sexual harassment and assault at the hands of male Blizzard employees, comments and images shared on social media paint a different picture. Based on photographs and screenshots of Facebook posts obtained by Kotaku, it's clear that the people beyond Alex Asabi, the man named in the lawsuit and longtime World of Warcraft developer, were aware of the Cosby suite mentioned in the lawsuit. That was apparently a nickname for Alex's BlizzCon 2013 hotel room, and seemingly a reference to the name of previous convicted rapist Bill Cosby. You can go screw yourself too, but hate that you're out. Just another way of showing the world that apparently the universe doesn't care. Alex worked on World of Warcraft, beginning 2004, designed some of his biggest quests, and eventually became creative director on the 2016 Legion and 2018 Battle of Azeroth expansions. He's also the only person outside of Blizzard President J. Allen Brack outright named in the lawsuit, a fact that's made easy for many to try to distance themselves from Alex's actions. During the company event, the annual convention called BlizzCon, Alex would hit on female employees, telling them he wanted to marry them, attempt to kiss them, putting his arms around them. The complaint reads, this was a plain view of other male employees, including supervisors who had to intervene and pull him off female employees. Alex was so known to engage in harassment of females in his suite, that his suite was nicknamed the Cosby Suite. So yeah, the Cosby Suite in 2013. At the time, they go on kind of say it was booze filled. There would be informal meetings. There was like a WhatsApp post like saying, "Hey Alex, you can't marry all of them." And someone was like, "I think you forgot to spell. I think you spelled Fuck wrong." I don't want to say it. It's just gross and demeaning and disgusting how these people were talking about like just trying to hook up with girls. And it's just horrible. And like in 2013, they named their suite after Bill Cosby when he already had like a shitload of allegations against him. Like, yeah, he got convicted in 2018, but like, yeah. He said the Cosby Suite was some Greg Street. There was a green room for taking breaks during BlizzCon, and then he's embarrassed with the nickname of the room, given all that we know now. Dude, people knew then. Like, it's horrible. And this just keeps happening. Like, these stories just keep, like, coming out, and people were like, oh, I didn't know that, that's what was going on at that time. Like, it was national news. Like, how did you not know? And kind of to cap off, like, the big story-wise, I'm sure there'll be more stuff in the coming days, but it's from Ian Walker at Kotaku as well. And it says, Ubisoft workers decry industry's culture of abuse. Activision Blizzard harassment allegations have spurred demands from people elsewhere. Stephen Totilo mentioned he's a full letter that it doesn't just stand with Activision Blizzard workers, doesn't just criticize Ubisoft policy, but calls for industry-wide actions and change, with publishers and developers getting involved. I believe it was at the time 500 current and former employees signed that as like a hey, we're with you at Activision, and with you guys at Activision Blizzard, and we stand with you. This needs to be an industry-wide thing. We still haven't had change within our company. Things that happened earlier in the year. Yves Guillemot's son. It was just a lot of stuff. There's articles you can find. It's just gross. The industry is just weird and gross, and for so many things, there's so many things I love, and there's so many great people work in the industry and do amazing things and create amazing worlds, and worlds that I can tap into and just forget about some of the crap that I have to go through in life or anything like that. And yet it's almost like, at what cost, right? This has happened to women in so many industries. Something needs to change, and it's just rough to see how many people are just being treated this way and how horribly they're being treated. And all my support goes out to them. You guys are so brave. There's and in a lot of these articles that I'll link to, there is places you could donate for women in gaming, Black Girl Code, things like that, just to help people move on and kind of get more women in the industry and things like that. There's so many eyes on it, and major change needs to happen. And I believe someone who used to work at Activision Blizzard, someone high up, recently, as of today, just called for unionization in the gaming industry, and that would be such a huge, great change. That'd be awesome, So we'll see, and hopefully things change, and hopefully things get better. I worry, I do worry. I don't know. I worry that nothing's gonna happen, and I just want the world to get better, not just for my wife or my my stepmom, or my sister, my niece, my nephew, my son, my daughter. I want the world to just not be so shitty. And it takes all of us to work to it. It doesn't take a lot to not be a shitty person. It's so easy to be a good person, and I don't think a lot of people know that. And I don't know. I wish when some of this stuff happened, just a hole in the universe would be like, all right, sorry, he wasn't supposed to be up here. He was supposed to be gone a little bit ago. My bad. We took care of it. He's in hell. We got you. You good? You good? Okay. Move on. Yeah, I wish just little sinkholes will open up with these people. Just go away. Go some other dimension. Fly away. Get out of my face. But unfortunately, we're not there yet. Maybe one day. If anything crazy happens, we'll cover it on the Nerdy Day podcast. I don't want any music or anything like that. It's just kind of a giving you the facts and pray and hope that the world gets better. I love you guys. I hope you guys are good. And to everyone that did something shitty, like harassment, so bad that someone kills himself, harassment in general, anything like that, you can go fuck yourself. And so for the Nerd Day podcast, thank you.